I wanted to just give you a quick little refresher on what I've done so far during the previous stream and what I'm going to continue to do in this stream. Sorry, I'm just making sure that my glue is still glue and not solidify. Little congealed mob. Oh no, my stick. Okay, so I'm just making sure that my special glue, my craft glue, which I'll show everybody again, is the Solo fabric one. Don't freak out at the price. Remember, it's Eastern Caribbean dollars, so that's $2.70 off of, like, divide that by 270. So it is premium quality and premium craft and fabric glue, and this is exactly what I need because it's paper and fabric that I'm working on. I am creating my own bullet journal because Antigua does not have them currently. I'm hoping within the next month or so that they do have them, or I am able to get one sent from Amazon. In the meantime, I desperately want to start using one, so I decided to create my own because necessity is the mother of invention. So far what I have done is I have poked holes. I've taken just regular printer paper on this, and I have marked off 1-inch squares, or dots, sorry, on a template, and I will show you the template that I used. I have realized afterwards, and when I go to do this again, because if they don't have them for the next time that I need a new one, I will need to make a new book. What I will actually be doing is marking them and then using that as my outside guide instead of it being my inside. So I will undoubtedly see all of these little dots on every page, which is fine. It's completely fine. I mean, it's my favorite color anyway, so it's not like I purposely chose that color for a reason and then realized afterwards that I could just be turning it the opposite way. So because of this, when I go to make my next book, if I need to, the template that I need, I'm going to actually have to add one extra hole because I will need to be going back to the, like, it has to balance so that the end and the beginning both are on the same side. So it's not on the inside and one on the outside kind of thing. So that is what I've done so far. I've had to loosen up these pieces that I have glued, or I've sewn the papers together. And I have decided to go with a 4-sheet section, 4-sheet section here. And when you double it over, it's 8 pages. So you can do increments of anything that is like, if you want 2 pages or 4 pages. 2 pages is a little bit too thin, I think. But if you do 4 pages, 6 or 8, if you do more than 8, it's going to be very tricky to adhere everything together properly because it might be a little bit too thick at that point, unless you're using like woodworking materials. And I mean, I do have clamps here, but the table doesn't have the right lip, so I can't do what I wanted to do with it. So I wanted to actually adhere the clamps to the table and, you know, click them down and make them strong enough so that I could do all of this stuff that I now have to do, like shifting around. So what I also have done is I picked up this gorgeous felt that I've been trying to figure out what I wanted to do with it, and there's 2 of them, so I have one more of these for another bullet journal if I need to, or I can use it for a bag of holding or some other geeky awesome thing. So what I did was I poked holes through all of the spots all along there, and then I just took some regular string that you can just get anywhere. And sorry, I keep thinking that the camera's over further. Yeah, just regular string, and I just used a wide size needle. You can see the hole there. And that's what I actually fed each of them through after I used the smaller size needle to actually pierce the hole. This is one of the larger size needles that you can actually see is fairly large in my hand. We do have other materials that I could use, but I wanted to specifically use things that anybody would necessarily have in their home. Next time I might get a little bit more crafty with some of the other stuff that a lot of people don't have leather making materials. So there's like a leather, it's kind of like a leather knuckle brace that you can punch. And it's got like it's a really fun little implement that you can kind of like snap onto your hand, and while you're working with the needle, like the very thick leather needles, to punch through and stuff, you need to be able to push with your knuckle and stuff. So there's some really cool things like that. And I mean, not that I'm going to need to solder anything, but if I needed to solder something, we've got a soldering gun. I've got hot glue gun. There's a lot of other things that I can implement, but I figured for now this was the best idea, so that anybody could go into their regular area of their house and be able to find all of these items. And if you don't have the crafter's glue, you can just use regular white glue. For the craft glue, I've been doing, this was a 90-10 ratio of 90% craft glue and 10% like water. So it's a little bit it's running. Actually, you can see it's fairly runny. It might actually be like an 80-20 on this, but I wouldn't go any liquefied more. I wouldn't go any more liquefied at this point, because you want to make sure that it actually adheres. So the only thing that I've glued together so far is the final page, and I'm going to show you because I got to separate these pages. You can actually see there's a little bit of warping in here, which is fine. And I mean, I'm the one that's going to be using it, so I was prepared for this. It feels actually a little bit damp still, but you can actually see the only part that I've done so far is all of those strings that I'm going to show you again in a second. I have a package of 4 that has a gray page on it that is on the front and the back. And when you sew them all together, okay, you can actually see how my book is starting to come together there. It is going to be a lot tighter than that in a minute, but I also have the other side of it flipped down so I can work easily. So the only thing that I've done on this particular spot is I have braced all of the strings that I'm tying them all together, and I'm only going to be able to write on the back of this. I can't flip this page over because it's the back. So that's how you adhere all of it together in a really cool way. Sorry, I picked up. So, okay, so this is the part that I have been working on, and I'll try to get a little bit closer so you can actually see. I have had to feed through all of those parts that I just stuck down a little while ago. I've got these strings coming off, and I'm working through those as I am building that up. So the next one, I have, yeah, you guys can see that better. Okay. That was one thing I was like hopeful for, is that it was a lot clearer. So I'm just gonna put my leg up there while I work. And so I'm just going to push these off to the side for now. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue working with this. I have, for my own sake of crazy fun, I always have 13, if I can. 13. Because 13 is my lucky number. And I have 13 packages. So I have 2, 4, 6 left. There we go. So this is number 7. So we're exactly halfway through this part of the process. So This should be a lot faster than the first part. So if you have missed the first hour and a half, it was me getting to this stage. So this should be a lot faster because it was a lot of trial and error of figuring out what equipment I needed and stuff like that. Like I had a lot of it already prearranged, but I also had to finish sewing some of the pages to begin with. So that was a little bit tedious, and I had a bit of a Tyrion moment, and because everybody needs a crazy kitten moment in their lives, and I had to stop and feed Nia some treats because she's back again. How do you know? How do you just know that I'm talking about you? Oh, Beast, here, have these ones. Anya, come here, older Beast. I'm sorry, Mummy's lunch bowl is there. So sorry. Here. Oh my goodness, cow. Okay, so the feral beast is getting her treats beside you guys, and I doubt that anybody is going to see her. Sorry, she does not make appearances. But she is here. She is a glorious elder beast, and at some point, I'm surprised that Kaylee and Tyrion are sleeping, but they're all happy that I'm in one spot and I'm down here chilling with them. And Kaylee usually sleeps down here during the daytime, so I try to come down here as often as possible, just so I can sit at the dining room table and either write my nano or work on articles or do other fun things. And then when I have a bad headache, I just stay up in my little cave of happiness. And I write up there in the dark. So I like to leave the balcony door closed. See, so here if you notice, it kind of warbled a little bit because I wasn't really thinking it straight. Do you want more, cow? Oh my goodness. Sorry, everybody. The queen is demanding. The queen is very demanding. There you go. Yes, everybody. Dun, dun, dun. There you go. Everybody got their temptation books for a second. Okay, so it is going to be all sloshy and stuff. Don't worry. We're going to take care of this. Part of what we're going to actually be doing once we get to the end is it's going to be the front. I'm going to decide after I seal it all up which way looks more front-ish than the other side, which would look more back-ish, I guess. So I'm just going to keep going, and because of the way that I had marked it off, what I would suggest to everybody, what I did suggest before, was if you look at this corner to, sorry, Kaylee, to this corner, this one is a little bit longer, so that way, sorry, Kaylee, I'll move you back so you can hang out with everybody again. There you go. So that you can actually like line them up, and you're not going to notice this once you have your book closed, that you had a little tiny bit of difference between one end and the other. It's just for your own sake of, like, let's make this look good. Do you want more? My goodness. You are a crazy woman. I've never seen you eat so many treats before, woman. That's your third pile. She's going to lick 2 and then probably leave at this point, just because she can. Okay, so I'm just going to point out the fact that if she doesn't eat dinner, this is why. But I'm not going upstairs to run the water for you, I'm sorry. It's just part of reality right now. I'm busy, sweetheart. Okay? I don't know if you guys can hear her crunching away, but she's... Really? You're going to walk away with that many left on the table? You're a silly, silly girl. She usually leaves 3. If she's going to leave them. Oh, she's back eating them again. I'm surprised that she's eating this much, which is a good sign. I mean, I'm glad that she's down here and she's socializing and she's playing and being nice. Well, I say playing, but I don't mean the word playing. The fact that she's socializing with anybody is basically tantamount of her, doing fantasy football with everybody. So I guess part of what I should point out is the fact that bullet journaling, for anybody who's just tuning in, hold on a second. Let me just pop over to see if there's... Okay, there's nobody in there yet. Okay. Anybody who is going to join, I am not checking my stream very often, but I do have it up. I'm working on a really small screen, so give me a second or two, and if you do message on the YouTube, and then I will be able to respond. So, as you can see, it is really starting to look kind of bookish at this point, which is fantastic. Thank you. You're done now? Okay. She did her little nod thing and went on her merry way. So, yes, everybody, I need to stop and just show you how awesome Michaela is. She's Michaela. I love Michaela. Look at her there. She's got her wrench and she's got everything. The one that I really, really, really want is the other one of my Firefly loves, and that is Hoban. Washburn. Yes, my wash. My wash. Which yeah, he's fine, by the way. Anybody who says otherwise has got some issues with me, okay? So he's fine. He's absolutely fine. Right, Kaylee? Great. No leaves on the freaking wind. He's so fine he's in my novel. Well, my side of our novel, I should say. I'm not saying that it's my novel. It is our novel, and I shouldn't have said it that way. I'm sorry, Trey. I'm sorry. So sorry. But yeah, my side of our novel. I do my proper homage to... Oh, what am I doing? I just closed my OBS. Oh no, am I still there? Okay, good. Sorry, I panicked for a second because I thought that I had actually stopped the stream midway through a sentence, and that's not cool. Okay. And anybody who is wondering that hasn't seen my feed or anything like that at this point, which is crazy how you wouldn't have seen it already. I did finish my nano. So that's my side of the nano, I guess I should say. But I am still continuing to do sprints and stuff, and I wrote a special sprint idea up last night, and Friday night, actually Thursday night, Trey and I are going to make 2 more characters, and this time we're going to do it on, I'm going to stream it from here, and I think that she's going to stream it on Twitch, and we're going to do the Hero Forge. And Hero Forge is awesome. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stream Hero Forge at the same time. Maybe she'll have to do it. But that's okay, because last week we did our 2 main characters on her Sims 4, and it was so much fun. I don't think that I've laughed so hard in so long. It was phenomenally awesome. Just getting to see our characters together, and I mean, even just in a cartoonish kind of way. It's a really, really awesome feeling to see something that you've worked really, really hard on starting to come together, and knowing that you have such amazing teamwork. It works so well. So I'm very delighted that we get to do 2 more of our characters, and then the following Thursday I think we're going to do 2 more. I think we're going to keep going until we've actually got all of them, which is going to be so much fun, because by that point Nano will be done and we will have seen our characters. So we're going to start to actually work on... Oh, I didn't open this one up earlier. Sorry, people. We're going to actually start working on the edits and starting to put pieces together, because as it stands right now, I'm writing my side and she's writing her side, and then we're going to mesh them together. So the story is kind of unique right now, because she has taken it from a very fantastic chronological kind of way, whereas I just start midway through a conversation, and that's kind of where my entire book begins, which I've never done before. It was so weird that it ended up like that, but it seems to fit, and it's so entertaining to see how in our like daily writing and our sprints and stuff like that, when we're reading each other's work. I mean, we've also got to see each other writing for well over a month now on just our assignments alone, not even just the fact that, I mean, we've been reading each other's stuff for over a year now, from, the various websites that we have written for. And a lot of the stuff that I had written for a few other websites had attracted her to how I write to begin with, a long while before I even said yes to Geeks. And I don't know why I didn't say Geeks yes right away, because there are certain things that you just regret in life, and that was number one for me, was not saying yes to Geeks like right off the bat, because there were so many things that would have changed. So many things. I was very excited when I finally decided to come on board, and she was very excited because, like I said, she's been reading my stuff for a long time, and she's gotten used to what my style is like. And when I told her, yes, I am going to be doing Nano, and we got talking about it, I told her what my theme was going to be, and she loved the idea, and I just kind of tossed it out there. Like, you have to understand, like, she's somebody that I admire so much, that when I finally worked up the courage to say, Trey, will you write this with me? I was in such a panic. I'm not even kidding you. Like, I have no idea if she's even going to launch this part, because she's off doing some very important things right now with her daughter. So I think it's fantastic that she gets to spend this time with her daughter doing very, very important things. Hello, Super Remy. So, anyways, when she finally said yes, I felt like this is the moment of awesomeness that I can get all excited about. And then we found out about this. I think it was, I know it was her. I'm positive that it was her. If it was somebody else, then I'm sorry that I'm not giving them credit, but I'm positive that it was Trey that had let several of us know that there was this workshop that was coming up in October that was going to be featuring fiction writing, and specifically focusing on women in fiction writing. Not the women writers specifically themselves, but the characters being female. So by that point, we had already decided that we were going to write our novel together. And she had said, you know what, we're going to do this. And then October 13th came, and she said, I didn't see you sign up for it. And I was like, oh no, I completely forgot. Can I still get in? And I'm so glad that I was able to get in. And so I got my final marks, and I passed the course. Yay! So I'm very excited about that. So that was, I finished my last assignment on Friday, this past Friday, and you will be able to read that assignment on Geeks in a month, I think it is. Because every Friday we have been taking our various assignments, and we have been posting them as part of the Fiction Writing Friday on Geeks. And when I say Geeks, you know that I'm saying Geeks and Geeklets, right? The geeksandgeeklets.com. I just shorten it to just Geeks, because it's just, just awesome Geeks. Everything is about Geeks. But, so don't worry about this right now. I realize that it's still kind of loose looking and stuff, but we're getting there. We're getting there. We've got 2 more, and then I'm actually going to show you the really fun part of how we're actually going to start making all of this work. Now, it's going to look kind of spooky for a second, because I have to try and figure out how I'm going to get this. Like, once I get all these done, all of these little fringe pieces are going to get glued down to the other one. And then, I think somebody is going to start doing weed whacking outside. If they do, I'm going to have to close them. I'm really sorry. I really hope that they don't. They don't actually use lawnmowers, predominantly, like, for the most part down here, in a lot of the Caribbean countries. The reason why is there's so many hills. I mean, it's volcanic land, so um, there's a lot of rocky hills, and like we live on a cliff. Literally, we live on a cliff here. So we have beautiful views on both sides of the villa, but we also have to deal with the fact that, if there was a really bad earthquake, we would possibly be going ass over tea kettle into the drink. Could happen. Probably not, but it could happen. These places are all built with predominantly just cement and rebar, and then built up after that. So, like this is actually a drywall, but most of anything that's a load bearer, obviously, like all of the outside walls are cement. Every single wall that connects to anything that has a load bearer is cement. Anything that connects to piping is cement. The only difference is between, even in between bathrooms and stuff, there are cement for privacy, like for sound dampening. Let's see here. Sorry, I got a message. Sorry, Kaylee. I'm not sure why I'm getting that message. Okay, good. Alrighty. Everything is fine. Sorry, Kaylee, you're not holding these strings anymore. Okay, so I am almost finished this, and then I will start the process of tying them all off. So this is my last one. And again, you can tell, see, it's already curled. That's fine. I don't know if you can tell very easily there. That's better. This is actually a little bit thicker, harder stock than just the regular copy paper. And the only reason why I'm using that is, well, actually there's two reasons. One, it is a little bit thicker, so it will be able to handle a little bit better than the copy paper for glue. And it's a little bit sturdier, so it's going to last a little bit longer on the actual like rough and tumble of closing and opening and stuff like that, as compared to the other stuff. So this is the final one. So I did cut my 8 strings the right length, which is great, and they are going to be fantastic when I get them all down. So yay me for thinking that through. And they were all the same length. I know that not everybody's like the ones that weren't watching before, but all I did was basically just, I took it and I doubled it and I doubled it, and then I just chopped it so that they were all the same length from an extra piece of this. When I was setting this up, it was 8.5 by 11 copy paper. I folded it in half and I did all of the template, like I stamped all the template spots, poked them with the needles, and then I took 2 and a generous little extra bit, about like this much. Sorry, about this much. Extra on each end, so that it was about 2.5 feet. I probably won't need that much because I've got so much extra, so that I will probably, the next time if I have to do this, I will probably do about half of that. So I will probably do about 1.5 feet, and just work, like part of this is so I can show everybody, and the other part was, this is my first time doing this, so I'm used to doing like the comb style ones. I have sewn books before, but not in this way. I've sewn them with, I actually did them in a totally different style than this. It was, all the pieces were adhered together in like one giant one, and then I punched through several times and made the giant loops. But that makes one center instead of all of these having like every 4th page as being a center. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I hope it does. Because when you open up each section of here, the middle spot where all the template holes are, like the dots and the holes that I put in, that would be all just one giant piece, and that was how I did it. So it wasn't this nicely put together. So if you are gonna do um, if you are gonna do this style, that you want to adhere it to the front of the book, like the whatever you decide for your cover. Um, the KISS method, like keep it simple, sweetie, is probably the best way. And whatever you have been doing for all of these, make sure that you do that for the front and the back so that they have the same kind of pattern as well. So now I'm just going to tighten down my last set of strings and try not to. I realize that this might sound kind of ridiculous, but don't pull too hard on the last set because this is going to be getting a lot of wear and tear. So be gentle to this area. Like make sure that it's tight, but you don't have to make it so tight that you're ripping all of these. Like we need this for reinforcement, but you don't need to be doing this in a crazy way. So here's the fun trick. Being that this is now the finished part, what I should have done on the other side as well, but I didn't because I wasn't thinking it through, and it's again one of those trial and error kinds of things, is now that I've got all of the book together, I'm going to leave these ones so that they just get glued down. Okay, and if I decide that I want to do a larger one, you want to have it for every single loop that you do, so that it creates that little binding. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that it's all sealed nicely together. Yay, it looks pretty. So before I do that, I need to take a picture because I'm also going to be doing an article about this for some people who aren't able to catch this, but they just want to see how it all comes together. There you go. Okay. There we go. Sorry, Kaylee. Get back there. And now what we want to do is we want to tie this off. So what we need to do is make sure that it isn't slanted on any kind of way. So like right now you can actually see that there is an actual slant there. So what you need to do is make sure that when you pull these and you tighten them down, that they're all going to be at the same pressure, like together, all the way down. And see, this is the other really cool thing about creating this binding of 4, 4, 4 all the way up, or 6, or 8, or if you wanted to do 2, that's fine, but you're obviously going to need a significant amount to do the 2. The reason that this actually starts to look really good is because you've got that extra little edge inside of each one, and it's uniform. So instead of having one, you've actually got a spine that you've created. So one of the things that I was going to suggest is getting a piece that you can actually glue onto the back of this so that it actually has a little bit more of a sturdy back. I actually do have some, yeah, I do. I have a piece of cardboard I can use. We'll be right back. Sorry, it's one of those work in progress kinds of things. Cooking. Okay, so and it doesn't have to be fancy. Nobody else is ever going to see the inside of this. Ever, ever, ever. Unless you become multi-billionaire, famous, superstar, awesome, and somebody decides to buy it and take it apart just so they can say, hey, you said I didn't need to, and I did. So, what I have is a piece, it's just from a Rosini Botella. So what I'm going to do is, obviously not yet, but when I'm done, I'm going to cut a piece so that it is just along the middle here on the back, and I'm going to stick it down. I might not. I haven't decided yet, but I've got it cut out just in case. So if I don't need it, okay. So there's the part that you have to be careful about. You need to make sure that you have all of them in proper line so that your book, when it closes and it opens, isn't on an angle. So this is exactly what I don't want to do. See, it's got an overlap here. So what I need to do is make it so that these pieces are jutting properly. There we go. Okay, so this part is done. And what I'm going to do now, actually I'm going to steal this for a second. And you come over here. And you come over here. There we go. Okay. That little piece. Make sure you give yourself enough on here so that you can do this. What I could also do is also tie these down together, but well, actually, you know what? That might actually work better, even if I just tie it one time, because then yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to knot that. I should have done that on the other side as well, and I will know for next time because it might come off the back. And then I can just glue that, and I'm okay with it having a little knot, but probably be better if it wasn't loose, like I'm making it when I pull it. Okay. Trial and error. If it doesn't look very good, it can be the back page. That's fine. And I mean, it's my book, so it's what I can handle, right? It's what I can sufficiently endure till I can make something different. And I figure as long as I'm using my creative ability to make something that is going to be useful, so much the better. There we go. Okay, so I really now want to take this back one off and tie them, but that's okay. I learned my lesson. So what I can do now is I can glue those. I don't even need that now because what I've decided is I'm going to glue those halves down and these halves back. So that way they are back, so there's only 4 that are going this way. So this might actually be the front. I'm not sure. I'm guessing it could be. So this will actually be my first, like my actual, like you flip the page, this is the one that you start to write on. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of the clamps, and sadly, like I said, the table doesn't have enough of a lip here. So I'm going to have to, let's see, I'm going to clamp this side and I'm going to tie this side off. That makes no sense. Now, I have the protective felt, or the protection of the felt, I should say, on that side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double this up, and that way I can do this. Put that in there. There we go. Fantastic. Okay, so that's nice and strong. So there we go. There. And you just want to bend. You don't want to play nicely, do you? Play nicely. Let's see. Okay, so you can see one spot. I have one that is out of place. I'm not redoing it. Seriously not redoing it, but I will show you where I goofed. Okay, so in here, there is this string right here. This one. Where are you? Sorry. This string here, you can see it is sufficiently over from the rest of them. And that was because I didn't check to make sure that it was flipped the right way. So this is actually the wrong way in there. Nobody's going to see it. I know that it's here. If it was more of a significant issue, then I would actually have to pull everything apart and fix it, but I can work with this. So it's not going to be too much of an issue. The only issue I'm having right now is this doesn't want to stay up. It wants to fall. It wants to break my spirit. Alright, you what? Go down that way now. Want to be a brat? Be a brat. I'll let you have your way. Oopsie, little machine. Client's tool thing. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do, because I've got, what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate these. And I'm thinking out loud as I do this because I don't know whether or not this is going to work to my advantage or not. So I'm separating all of this. And this one goes here. So this one goes here. And what I'm doing is every other one I'm separating to go up or down. And when I have finished that, I will take all of the ones that are on this side and I'll knot those ones together and these ones together separately so that it's every other one is tied to the previous, which I think is probably going to strengthen the book even more. The sound that you can hear is from ambientmixer.com, and it is one that I created. They're all royalty-free sounds. It's various things that other people have openly shared that can be openly shared, even in commercial standpoint, and things like that are just sound bites. So there's a grandfather clock ticking and a cat purring and various things like that. So that was what I was using while I was writing my nano. And this is actually, I'm not sure if you guys can see from the previous stream, but it is the relaxing.ambient-mixer.com /clumsy nano. And that is the one that I'm listening to right now. I created it myself. So all I'm doing is double knotting these all the way down. And I'm leaving them separate the way they were because I'm going to go back and I'm going to flip them and I'm going to do back again. So, because I want to make this thing so structurally sound. And this is where you can be as tight as you want with this because you're not going to actually break any paper on that. That's not going to be an issue. So I'm now tying off that one that I messed up. And I put it in the wrong spot, but that's okay. You're not, like I said, you're not even going to know that it's done once I've got it all knotted up. But had I done it any further up, I probably would have had to figure out what to do with that because it was a significant kind of oopsie moment. So I am going to have one stray string on the very end. And what I'm going to end up doing is taking the last set that I've got and I'm going to make it 3. So I'm going to tie it 3 times with all 3 of them pieces. So I've got those 2 and I've got this. So I'm going to tie this one first by itself onto those 2. because that way it makes it like that. So I'm going to knot that twice, and then it's going to become 3 is going to become 1. So when I go backwards, I'm taking the last 2 with those 3, and I'm knotting them again. And I'm knotting them twice. So I'm leaving this string because I'm going to do something else with it afterwards again. So we're not chopping it off yet. So I might end up wanting to keep this kind of string length anyways. You might not want to make it too short to begin with, because if you do, you might be in trouble. So the last set, like this. Something like that. And you can tell that this one of them is going to be exceptionally long on the other side. So what I've got now is a nice collection where I can now tie these ones together. So I can make this 4 and 2, because that string is a little bit shorter. I'm purposely doing that so that I am making sure that those ones are properly sealed up. Oops, somebody just got home. Sounds like my neighbors who just got a new kitten the other day. My new auntie. Awesome. I'm going to call him Saute. He's so cute. Okay, now I've got 4. Now I'm going to knot these ones. I know it seems like I'm being like overly cautious about these corners, but I'm not. I figure that you can never be too sure, because the ends of your books see a lot more wear and tear than you think they do. So there we go. That piece is done. I'm going to unclamp that, and you can see that protected it really, really well. And there we go. We've got that piece. I mean, it's going to be a significant little bump on the back part, but that's fine. So we've got this that we're actually going to glue down. So this is actually going to be part of the actual spine. So, and I will say, when I get to this stage, I'm not going to be using the liquefied form. I'm just going to be using like straight from the container, like the lid itself, and I'm going to bead it on not beat, bead it on so that it is there. What I also might do is, when I get this set, I think I'm actually going to do that, is I'm going to tie these off if I can, so that, and I'm not sure, I might do that. I have no idea. I might not. I have no idea. But right now, I need to make sure that everything is as tight as it could possibly be, because it seems a little bit loose still. Now that I've tightened the far end. Ugh, there we go. Okay, so these ones are a little bit too loose now, but that's okay. I'm going to glue them down anyway. So me knotting them wasn't hurting anything. It's just adding an extra little extra. There you go. Exactly what it was. So now I'm going to pick up my piece. And now that I've got that piece done, I can actually go halfway in, and that might make it a little bit more secure still. Okay, so now at this point, I want to make sure that I have everything straight again, because I'm going to do there. Nice and tight. You can actually see. Nice and tight there. And I'm just going to repeat the same procedure that I did on the other side. So this might be a little bit faster because I now know how I'm going to do it. And this side's really short. some of these are extremely short. So I will say, when you go to do this, make sure that you have enough so that you can tie everything off, because I'm actually kind of worried now that some of these might be too short, whereas the other side is still incredibly long. So try to keep it as balanced as possible all the way through. Okay. So first of all, we're going to do down. Sorry if you guys can hear that in the background. I'm not sure if they're going to be stopping anytime soon. I don't know exactly what is going on out there, what they are doing. Could just be something very short-lived. So I'm hopeful, but hoping that they start to fill our pool soon. We moved in August with the claim that it was almost done and it was going to be retiled and it was going to be good to go. And it's now the middle of November and it's nowhere close to, nobody's touched anything, nobody's said anything. There's no water that's been ordered for it, nothing. So I don't think that they're actually going to turn the pool back on either. Sucks. One of the things I was looking forward to is being able to go down to the pool, especially at night, and go and hang out down there and swim early in the morning before everybody else was up and stuff. Not that I want to skinny dip. I mean, yes, I'm surrounded by ocean, but you don't want to go out onto the ocean area by yourself. And I think they're waiting for more tenants before they actually start to do something like the pool. So I guess part of me wants them to really get some tenants soon, because that would be to my advantage to be able to do that, to have that option of awesome, to be able to go for swims again. If it was covered, it would be even better, but then again, I'm just being picky. Because I could slather myself up and wear my big sun hat and do all the fun things that I could do if I could handle the sun the same way that everybody else can. But I get crazy sunburned. I did it a couple weeks ago. I went to Deep Bay to dive the wreck. Well, I say dive the wreck, but it was snorkel around the wreck. I should be a little bit more cautious with my words. I'm not a diver. I'm not a scuba diver. I'm working towards that, hopefully, though. I'd love to have a scuba diver qualification. So I could teach speed diving. That would be fun. Could go anywhere in the world. That would be a lot of fun, actually. Go anywhere and scuba dive, and I would love to go to Iceland and be able to check that out. That would be fantastic. I think when I'm going to seal this up, this time, like when I go to use the paste on this side of the felt, I'm going to actually put a layer of like a blotter paper kind of thing, like something that isn't going to make my other pages look soggy and stuff, because I really want that first page to look really, really good and shiny. Sorry nobody's getting a Tyrion attack. I figured that he would be up in here playing with the strings the whole time. Mia's got her back to me. She's laying within mere feet of me. Looking glorious and regal as always, aren't you, Queen Nefertiti? Beautiful and glorious. She knows she's a super diva. She does. I'm pretty sure that they created super divas after people saw what cats were like. Right, Anya? Right. So, my last big knot. And then I start to glue things back together. So, here we go. There we go. That's what I want to do. I will need them again in a minute, but I don't right this second. Okay, so double knot that. There we go. Now, when that is closed, my book is going to look like that. Like none of this string is going to be there. But, yeah. So this is what my book is going to be like. You're going to be able to see. Oh, see how nicely that spine just like lines up? It's so fantastic. I'm so excited to see this thing finished. So I can actually start writing in it. And I'm going to write all the fun things. I'm going to make a calendar. I'm going to do all these awesome things. I'm going to write my therapy stuff in here. And do all the things I want to do. Yeah, okay, I'm done. Sorry, everybody. I just had a moment of awesome freak out. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to tie these. I was thinking about tying these together, but I think what I'm going to do is just chop this off and chop this off inside, and I have all of these pieces here that I'll show you. See all of the, this is the ends, and I'm actually going to leave that in there because what I want to do is have the glue bind that as a spine to itself. So it adds just a little extra layer of protection to it. So here, it's awesomeness. So I'm just going to grab my glue again, and I've got to smush it around and make sure I've got. So this is. Yeah, okay. So all I'm doing is tamping down the. That's what I was going to do last time, and I didn't do it the last time, but I almost made a mistake. I'm going to have to clean up after myself. Okay, so. Okay, so now I can go back and start doing this again. Now, all I'm doing is wetting this side with the paste and water mix, and I'm pushing it down so that it's basically like if you had one of those foam brushes that you can pick up at the dollar store. We don't have a dollar store here. Our dollar store is a very expensive store, and I'm not kidding you, it's the exact same stuff that you would get at the dollar store in North America. Northern North America, technically we are North America. So here's the thing. You want to make sure that your corners are completely done, and I didn't make sure of that the first time, but I will be making sure like when I'm done. So I have a little bit more of this in here, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put these in the middle, and very quickly, before all of this soaks in, is I'm going to, oops, see, yeah, I did the one thing that I didn't want to do. I'm just going to wipe this very quickly, almost. Make sure that there's nothing like flecks of anything in there. That's what you have pants for. Okay. Corners. Dump that in there. These up there. These don't want to stay. Get some more. And then seam in there. There we go. Put that in there. And now I've got my stick again. And all I'm doing is rolling down. Stick. Stick. Make your stick work. Damn it, stick. You're not sticking anything. Okay. And I'm closing up my belly journal. What? Yeah. That's it, Cool. Now, what I'm going to do is, while this is drying, because I can't play with it right now, is I'm going to start to clamp it down. But I want to make sure that it stays stiff. So I'm actually putting my ruler in there. And there we go. I'm going to do the same thing to this side. And come on, open up, open up. I said open up. Okay. There we go. So this, oh, what did I do? I made a mistake. I didn't do it so that I could have it set up properly. That's okay. I'm going to soon stop my feed and I can spin it around this way before I do that. There we go. There. So this is going to, it has no face. Okay, so this is going to finish my bullet journal tutorial. And I'm just going to let this thing dry. And all the pieces are going to be there. And my front and back pages are adhered. So yay! I have made my bullet journal book. And, oops, sorry Kayla, kicking me around, you can actually see it's got a little bit of a gap. What I'm going to actually do afterwards is I'm going to just make this a little bit, I don't know, at some point I might go through and put some fun stuff in there and tack it all in and stuff. But for now I'm just going to make sure that all of my edges are completely sealed up and good to go and solid and good with one another, and then I am pretty much done. I'm just doing some last minute checking and making sure that everything is set. Perfect. If I was really thinking this through, I would have actually measured it out so that I had more on the outside so that I could actually wrap it around the inside area. Food for thought for next time. So, there we go. And this is going to be the bullet journal. Yay! Sorry, that looked really bad. I was like leaning down at the same time. So that's it, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me. And it's been Clem's Pixie doing a creative play of different things. So this is my bullet journal, and I hope you have a lovely day.